Hello and welcome to LastofAvari's channel, and now I don't have a game to show to you, and in fact this is not game but the piece of software that you are currently looking at is intro or maybe corrector to Space Crusade game from 1992, the game that is, and it was disked, or the disk version, the DOS version, was made by Max Iwamoto, and of course it's not real name, it's a guy I believe from Ukraine that was coding or programming for platforms of ZX Spectrum and Amiga. But currently we are not talking about Space Crusade or this very nice piece of music. I wanted just to talk a little bit about retro gaming, but not in general, but about a couple of ideas or thoughts that I had and I have. So if you will have your own stuff to say, you can say that, can state those thoughts in the comment section or make a video response and link it somehow probably. But yeah, the thoughts are that maybe we are already reached that moment in technology and in video game development where technologically and in sense of graphics, game engine and that kind of stuff, we already reached the phase where it's not so much retro anymore. I mean, the technology is no longer outdated, and maybe, to my mind at least, the things that you had, for example, a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, are looking good, are still looking good basically. And if you will play, for example, Skyrim, which is not that new game, you know, I believe it came out in 2011, that's the original game or something like that, and the game which I completed playing, which is called Armageddon. Red Faction Armageddon is not so new either, so yeah, maybe the technology is no longer outdated, and if the game was decently produced, it's kinda good enough already, and it can be old or maybe retro in the sense of its gameplay or maybe its game conceptions, but technologically it's already quite good. And for example, if you will be comparing games that were came out in 70s, 80s, 90s, you can clearly say that a game from 1992 will be much better looking than the game from, for example, 1989. Or you can have your, for example, your Doom 2, your other games of that era, early 3D actions, and then you have your Quake 1 or Quake 2 that is much better with the same kind of gameplay concept. And to my mind we reached that phase because you can add additional megahertz and gigabytes for CPU and RAM, but not that it changes a lot. Currently the thing that is really kinda shaking the game process is virtual reality or VR, since we have now this thing that is called Oculus Rift, and various other companies started to make its own versions of it. So I think the inspiration came from Oculus Rift product, which is very good and will be interesting to try at some point if I will have the resources for it. So that is new kind of level of gameplay and level of technology which really changes stuff, not by little step, but it takes it to a whole another degree and height and level. So to my mind, basically technology is no longer outdated, but maybe that's just because I am living in that era, in that decade of time, and it is kind of affecting me, my thoughts, and maybe the people who kind of played and lived in kind of 90s or maybe 80s were thinking exactly the same, but I think that you could say and could state in the 80s that yeah, you can have much better things, and not maybe in gameplay sense, but even in graphics. It was quite clear, but maybe that's just because I am living in the era that I'm trying to describe. Maybe that's why. I don't know. What do you think about that? And another part of that question is that we have those consoles and PCs, computers in general, and at which point they can become retro, basically. When can you call them retro? At which point? Because a few years ago you could say that PS2 is a new generation or current generation, and currently it is pretty much retro gaming on that platform, and I can't say that you call a retro gaming platform, for example PS3 that I currently have thanks to logins 1969, and its a competitor that is Xbox 360. I don't think they are retro, but they can kinda become retro, or even technologically, because especially early games on the weren't exactly quite modern. Since when you are launching the new platform, it's always take time to kinda get knowledge about the platform, so you could squeeze your frame rates and other kinda pieces of technology to the top of your capabilities, because it's not like you can upgrade console, and in PC you can just have additional gigabytes of memory, but in console you have to do your things on the stuff that you have, and you can't really change it. So yeah, those consoles, PS3 and Xbox 360, they maybe, to my mind, can become retro, but for example PS4, I can hardly imagine, very hardly, that you will be able to call it retro in, for example, 2030, for example. Because it's already looking good. Maybe you can call them retro because it doesn't support really a 3D, I mean virtual reality gameplay. But when we are talking about, let's say, how you can really call that two-dimensional, three-dimensional games, like, yeah, not virtual reality stuff, you can't really much more advance in that direction. And that is what I was thinking about. So just to sum up, two pieces of the question is that are the games which are currently being produced can become retro in a sense, not gameplay but technology and graphics. Can the technology that we currently have be outdated in a few years or maybe in 10 years? And at which point gaming systems, consoles and computers can be called outdated or retro? Will it take a few years, 5 years or 10 years? Should it be no longer produced, and how much time or which things should happen so you can call, for example, PS2 or PS3 or PS4 retro gaming system? I don't know, maybe you know, I have some thoughts and I told you those which I have. Maybe my kind of mind will be changed in a few years, and I have not planned to do this kind of YouTube hobby, and I certainly don't know if I will be doing this kind of videos in 5 years or in year 2000. 20. So thanks for watching. If you have something to say, you can say those words in the comments, and if you have something more to say, more than just a few words, you can make a video response and maybe call in the name of the video, in the title of the video, my name, LastofAvari, and these questions. Basically you can repeat this title to those two questions that are really the same question but in two parts, maybe two stages, something like that. It will be very interesting to see. So thanks for watching and see you later in the next video.